I want to make it clear, and I want to make it abundantly clear, that it is by law that the national resource must be shared equitably in all constituencies, in all wards of the country, regardless of what ticket you go to Parliament on. Having been a minister of local government myself, I can tell you that there was no single advantage that Mazabuka took over, say, Petauke Central. There's no single advantage that Mazabuka took, for example, over, Kwacha in Kabwe. We all got the same resource, exactly the same amount. From the days when the CDF was 1.6 million Kwacha to today when it's 40.6 million Kwacha, the amount of money that is shared on the national level is exactly the same. And so gone are the days, because we demystified that, as a matter of fact. Gone are the days when people used to say, "Kavotedwe, if you don't vote properly, you won't see development." Really, democracy must thrive. It must thrive, because at the end of it all, it's a question of the force, the reasonableness that a member of parliament comes with to the table in terms of fighting for, development in their areas. And it also coupled with initiatives, ingenuity. It is something that does not require docility. You don't have to be a docile person to be an effective member of parliament. And obviously, the notion that if you are not from the ruling party, remember there's been many ruling parties in this country over this period of 60 years plus. There was UNIP, there was MMD, there was, PF, there's UPND today. And it is illegal for anyone to actually say, if you don't vote for your preferred candidate, then your people are going to be denied of development. It is a criminal thing. It should never, ever be pronounced, as a matter of fact. And so, yes, I found myself in this situation where I have to run as an independent, proudly so, because I think that the same zeal that I've gathered as a member of parliament during the time that I was in the opposition, into the time when I was in government, and now back to an independent representative, I still have the energy to push the agenda. And it is through this particular engagement that I can make the appeal to the electorates of this constituency to look at me with their positive spectacles, that I've always meant well for this constituency, and I still mean well for this constituency. And if they give me the favor of being their representative, I shall listen to them, I shall speak for them, and I will indeed stand for them. I want to just make it absolutely and abundantly clear that when I was voting alone. It was these hands that were voting. And I was bound by the three-line whip, meaning that the party, UPND, had a position, and the position was to vote yes for Bill 7. There were a lot of contentious issues in that bill, which contentious issues had been discussed at many caucuses that were headed by the president, and we all agreed that those that were contentious must be removed, and then we soldier on. And I've said it, and I'll say it again, that I voted for Bill 7. Okay? I also want to probably say that, because it's in public domain, that at the time, at the close of the vote for Bill 7, there was a pronouncement from the Madam Speaker. The pronouncement at both occasions is plain for everyone to see, that in the first vote, I think there was 1 abstention, 0 no, and 131 yes. In the second vote, There was, I think, no abstentions. I think, again, no, I stand to be corrected, and 135 members who agreed to vote for the bill. It was pronounced by Madam Speaker herself. And so to wake up this one day and be told that you're among the 9 who did not vote, and for avoidance of doubt, the 9 were as follows: Mr. Gary Nkombo, Mr. Elijah Muchima, Mr. Newton Samakai, Mr. Elias Mubanga, Mr. Michelo Kasauta, MP for Wengwa, Madam Miriam Chonya, MP for Kafue, the MP for Kawambwa, the name has slipped off, Pambashe, I beg your pardon, the MP for Lumezi, the MP for Sesheke. 9. So already it provided some contradiction that there were 9 who were said not to have voted for Bill 7, 4 became enemies, 5 remained friends. Same accusation. Okay? And as consequent to that, maybe someone will come now and get to understand, why did you not apply to stand on the UPND ticket? Because of that, 4 of us, those who were named, were told not to stand, not to even bother to stand. And most of us obliged. But in my case, I obliged only to a certain extent. The extent was that there has to be fairness in the manner that the matter was adjudicated. I didn't apply, which means I excluded myself from the race under the party UPND, which I belonged to. The exclusion did not bar me from existing, from being a human being who then responds to the calling, because this conversation began with saying politics is a calling. My erstwhile friends in the UPND most recently have been making pronouncements regarding what they call my ambition. I've heard them in the campaign which is coming to a close in the next 3 weeks. I heard the campaign manager for my competitor, to be precise, Mr. Max Mwinga, giving reasons why I was relieved of my duties as a minister. I was a little bit surprised, but I've settled with that surprise, because at least I now know, in no uncertain terms, the discussion around the tables, that they say I wanted to be president of this country. This is an accusation that has come, it's not a new thing. It has come over a long period of time, and I don't see why it should create a sensation today. But speaking for myself, there's not a single day that I've gone on a podium to say I want to be a president. And I could not hold people's mouths and say, stop talking about this subject, because it is out of my control. But I'm glad to now know from the campaign manager of my competitor that, and the clip of what they're saying is all there to see, that part of the reason I was removed from duty was because I was selfish and I wanted to be president. I wanted to just say that at this current point, the ballots are all printed, I'm told, and my name is nowhere on the presidential race. And if I had the ambition, as they say, I was removed from office 2 years ago. And because I was removed from office 2 years ago, and if what they're saying is true, my name would have been on the ballot. Today, my name is on the ballot for the Member of Parliament. And that is what, for now, I feel is befitting me. And so I want to dismiss all those allegations that are coming in order for them to think that they could drive me away from people's affection or affinity. As a matter of fact, I now know what I did not know then, that because it's a serious allegation, that probably this is the reason why I received an assault on nomination day, probably that's the reason why I was arrested, probably that's the reason why things happened the way they did. I would like to address one final thing. And this final thing is about what the UPND are alleging, that, well, and I think this pronouncement even came from the office of the highest person in the land, to say independents are working with NUPRP, to be, maybe call it Mr. Mundubile. And that if the MPs win, and I am a person in subject of that, I want to give comfort to those who think like that, that I stood as an independent with no attachment whatsoever to any political party, including the two-horse race, which I see from my own eyes, that this is a two-horse race between Mr. Mundubile and Mr. Hichilema. I am not connected in my bid to any one of them. The law under Article 51 in the Constitution of Zambia, the supreme law of the land, does provide for an independent to run. So as I close my conversation with you who have taken time to listen to me, I want to dispel any of those allegations which have permeated down to the lower organs coming from the top, that the intention, if you vote for independence, is to come and impeach the president if he wins. That is not correct. It is not correct at all. It will never be correct. I am on record as having moved a motion to impeach a president, a sitting president, as a member of parliament, because I understand the right of a member of parliament. I moved a motion, which was seconded by Dr. Kambwili, to impeach President Edgar Lungu. May his soul rest in peace. I presented the impeachment motion to Parliament, to Dr. Matibine, because I thought that there was a breach of the Constitution in the President's function. And I'm alive to the fact that you only move an impeachment motion when a constitutional breach has happened. In my own view, I want to rest the anxieties of all those who are singing the song. If President Hichilema had breached the Constitution, I'll be the first one to talk about it. For now, I've not seen any breach that he has caused in his office for him to deserve an impeachment. So I want to say politely and also firmly that the issue of people voting for independent is for the sole purpose of impeaching the president. It is untrue. It is contemptuous. I'm so sorry, but I have to say this. It is untrue and it is baseless. If I'm taken to Parliament, I'm going to function as a legislator and not with an agenda to dislocate anyone. At one point, the day before the nomination, I got hundreds of people that came to my house and said, we want you to come and run. And I said, look, I didn't want to disclose what I've just disclosed now. I said, look, I decided to rest. But obviously I was hurting inside. It should be clear that I was hurting inside. And I made a conscious decision to listen to the people. And by making that conscious decision to listen to the people, I have been demonized, I've been castigated, but I reserve a democratic right to be represented as well as to represent. In this case, I chose to represent. So I'm at the behest of the voters. I am at the behest of the voters in their thousands. Some will say no, others will say yes. And after aggregation, once we finish the count, I will either back down as a loser or stand up as a victor. If I stand up as a victor, I want to make it very clear that it will not be Gary Nkombo's win, it will be the people's win. That's the way I view things. It will not be Gary Nkombo's win because there's no egocentrism around an activity like this where people call upon you to come and represent. I must also say that this journey has not been easy. This last 2 months, the whole country knows, and I'm not looking for sympathy at all, how harassed I've been.
Fue na Sakanya, fue na Kasenga, fue na Mweru, fue na Mpueto, fue na Luapula, bonse, mwapite vemba, mwapita lelamba bonse, mubebe atiawe, ifitatule jifwaya, shikulu, kafike nipo. Gamamo no muntu aisa mibe patio, kinge ba kingero mkabe buino atio, kabe poko wa wisokulu, na ule kwa inkito shapa inkito yobe, inshita na iringa, inshita ya apuya. Ekyo na mie wapali nomba, tuimanile bonse pamo, ugukano bugufi. Na kinge tuwa kwato mwenso, kinge tuwa wapali bonse pamo, ugukiushi wakila. Ekyo watemenwe, fiu mafiesu. Na pali ya mkimo kyo watemenwe iyo. Na wale minetela kotu no, ni ndala mashezu, tendala masha muntu, ni muntu ndala mashezu, wepushe ni tanshi, ushewalishu wapo no kupenda, nishi walependa. Walepende minue, ya walepende Echo na bilomba lelo, webana mayo, webena abana ba mayo bonse twali wa tuimine pamo, tuileka abantu, batuteike mumfine yo, tulefua tufume muri ukudeta, takilinge tuasumina, kukana, mfumie po mwenso, pantu, ikialo mkuntanshu tuleya, miaka yaona ipua, kwalifia ma promesi,